Hey everybody, out here looking at another crawl space today. This one's reminded me of a question we get asked a lot of times, and that is, where does the moisture come from in a crawl space if we have moisture problems, or why is it so wet? I've never noticed there being any moisture in the crawl space. We don't notice it in the house. So I'm just going to take a few minutes. This one was a good example of some issues that are going on. That might be a good example of what you might be looking for where water comes from in a crawl space. So let's take a look. So one of the first things I notice here is on the way to the crawl space door, which is right here, obviously, you've got a downspout that is just going straight down. You don't have any kind of an elbow or an extender getting the water away from the foundation. And actually in this case, it appears like the water is just running down towards the door and is actually starting to rot out and wash out at the door. So that's one main reason in this instance where you've got the reason why you have some moisture issues. You can just see the green algae on the brick and on the door itself. Just indicates that it is wet and stays wet. Another thing to look for is the downspouts that are buried. They look great, but you always want to know if they're actually carrying the water away from the foundation. In other words, are they clogged up? Where does it actually go? I've looked in this yard for 5 to 10 minutes and I can't find anywhere where that downspout ends, where that corrugated pipe terminates. I don't see any exit point or any pop-up emitter. That doesn't mean that there isn't one, but I just couldn't find it in my short time here today. So that's another thing. If that's not draining away properly, that could cause a problem and just be terminating in the foundation. Outdoor water spigots are another thing that if they freeze in the winter, you turn those on, those can leak inside the wall, or sometimes they're not connected well at the actual hose bib, and so therefore it's spraying water, getting down into the brick or into the crack, so it's water seeping into the crawl space that way. That's another thing. I'm not saying that was the case in this instance, but I've been in the crawl space already and there is a lot of moisture along this wall here. Here's another downspout that actually has you can see where the corrugated pipe exits or where it terminates, and this is a little bit better situation, so you can actually see if that water is flowing when it's raining, or if you put a garden hose up there in the gutter, you can actually see if the water makes it all the way out. So that's a good situation. You can tell if it's working. So the biggest key in this is really to keep the water away from your foundation. So that means clean gutters and downspouts that are carrying the water away. Like I just showed you, some downspouts that were questionable. Certainly the first one, it's just going right in the crawl space door. But clogged gutters is another thing. If they're just spilling over, I don't have any reason to believe that's the case here, but another big thing, so can be fairly simple to prevent water, but it's just a maintenance thing. You've got to be diligent and keep your eye on it. So let's take a quick look inside the crawl space and see what it looks like today. All right, welcome inside the crawl space. This has got quite a bit of moisture. It's fairly humid today, and I think it's probably reaching dew point in here. Seeing a lot of moisture on top of the plastic, and so when you have excess moisture coming in the crawl space from exterior sources, that's going to change the environment in here and make it easier to reach dew point. You're going to have condensation. You got ground that's not covered by vapor barrier, a lot of mud on top of the plastic, and it's probably hard to see on this video, but all of this plastic is really wet on top of it. And here we've got, as we get back into the corner, we've got some puddles actually here. You can see, and this is kind of the area that I mentioned, the one downspout that goes into the ground that we don't know where it goes. The water spigot is over here as well, so there's definitely moisture here, and so this is just all contributing to a wet, damp crawl space. that needs some attention. Thanks for checking out this video. I hope you found it helpful. I just wanted to point out a few things that we noticed today that are things we notice frequently. They're kind of minor things, but things that can definitely impact what happens in the crawl space and the moisture from a moisture standpoint, and you know, fairly easily correctable, but if they go unnoticed or unmaintained, they can cause some issues. So that's why you have someone like us at Advantage Clean of Knoxville and the Smokies to take a look at it. If you're not one to go under your house or into the crawl space or it's tight, that's what we do. And so that would be, feel free to get in touch with us. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.